You're listening to SM Media, the #1 place for exclusive content.
Hi everyone, and welcome to day 6 of our Euro 2020 review show. I'm Scott McPike, delighted to be your host as always. Busy day as always, with Russia beating Finland to get themselves back into Group B. A magnificent performance from Wales to beat Turkey in Baku, and Italy with a dominant performance to be the first team to qualify into the last 16. Joining me to discuss this is, as always, Mark Shankland. Shankers, pleasure to have you on as always. Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Brilliant. And we're joined by, but it was so good in the previous show we had last week that we brought him back by popular demand, Stevie Murray. Stevie, pleasure to welcome you onto the show. Thanks for joining us. Brilliant. Let's get into the games that took place today. We will start off with Finland 0, Russia 1. Antonin Miranchuk with a goal for Russia. Stevie, what was your thoughts on the game?
I know Finland had the goal rolled out early doors. I kind of knocked the stuffing out of them a wee bit. Probably Russia deserved to win the game. That just puts them right back in the mix for that group, didn't it? I think maybe a draw will see them through in the final game in that group.
Definitely. Shankers, what was your thoughts on the game? Obviously a good result for Russia, but Finland had that early goal chopped off. Would you kind of surprised how it went?
I think Russia were probably favourites going into it. We said last night if they were to progress, they needed to win this one, and obviously they did. Both Russia and Finland sitting on 3 points just now. I know what to rule out Denmark, but we fully expect Belgium to. I would fully expect Belgium to beat Denmark tomorrow, and that would set them on 6 points. So I think it could be between Russia and Finland to go through, and Finland's obviously got Belgium in the last game, which makes it more difficult for them. I think Russia will go through in second place. Whether Finland can nick some, or even 3 points could take them through in third place, but I think you maybe need four just to kind of scrape past. I don't want to rule out Denmark. Obviously, I think they've got a lot more going on in their camp just now with the whole thing. If we got to feel a wee bit sorry for them, to be honest, they're in a wee bit of a false position, I think. But Belgium to top that group, I think, with Russia going through in second place. Whether Finland could scrape through in third, I don't know, but I'm not surprised with the result either.
Stevie, what's your thinking with the group? Is it kind of all in Russia's hands now, going to we kind of getting that result at home, and then they've got a tie against Denmark in the last game to get through?
I think it's they've put themselves in a good position anyway. I spoke about it when last time I was on, just that there's no real superstars for them. They just seem to grind out results and know how to get the right result at the right time. Saying that, they were poor in the first game of the group, but I think that result's put them in a brilliant position to go through. As you say, with Finland and Belgium playing in the last game, I hope maybe Finland will be hoping that Belgium stick out the B squad. If they, you know what I mean, if maybe get half a chance against them. But I can see, as Shankar said, I think Russia will go through second in that group, and possibly Finland to go through in the best place third position.
Belgium's B squad's still frightening, but I
know it is.
Shankers, one player I want to touch on with you is Glenn Camara, who again stood out like a sore thumb for Finland. Is it going to be hard for Rangers to keep him after this summer if he keeps on playing the way he's playing?
I think take the tournament out of the equation, and it was still going to be hard for them and to keep teams away from him. I think his domestic season, I think it was brilliant, and then on the world stage or European stage even, playing for his country. Maybe he's fortunate slightly that he's playing in a Finland team where he is sticking it a wee bit more than usual, whereas Rangers have got kind of a few good different players, so maybe, I'm not saying take the shine off, but with Finland, if him and maybe Pukki are sticking out, there's only two of them and it's more noticeable.
Aye.
So, and I think on a stage like that, there's definite, I mean, how many managers are going to be sitting watching this looking for a couple of gems that they can that they can get up in a good price, and I think it'll bode well for Rangers if he's having a good tournament. Well, Rangers aren't going to accept, say for instance, £6 or £8 million. They're going to try and get double that kind of money for him if he plays well in this tournament. And I think there is going to be teams. There's already talk of Watford, but I think he can go better than that. To be honest, I think he can go. I'm not going to. I'm struggling to pluck teams out my head, but I think he can go better than a Watford who are maybe looking to stay safe every year. I think he is better than that. Like,
Stevie, what's your thoughts on Camara? Can you see him going and progressing to a kind of top club in England or abroad?
I mean, when you watch him, he's got the temperament to play at a higher level. He's definitely got the ability as well. As Shankar says, I can see him going to a better team than Watford. To be fair, I know they're going to be in the Premier League next year again, but I could see him going to a top 10 side in England. To be honest with you, his ability is really. I really like the way he keeps the ball, and he's not just a stopper. He doesn't just stop attacks. He actually's got a bit of ability on the ball as well, and he's important to that Rangers team as well. It'll be a huge loss if Rangers lose him.
Do we think that this Russia team as well, do we think they're relying on a lot on their kind of creative threats like Golovkin and Moranchuk, who probably won them the game today? What was your thoughts, Stevie?
I suppose they are, but I go back to what I said before. I think a lot of the results that Russia get are due to the fact that they just have a knack in knowing when to get the right result and how to get the right result, whether that be just kind of slow playing a game, hitting a team in a counter-attack, getting one goal up and packing a defence. They're one of the teams. They're not as expansive as you want them to be, but they just seem to get the right result at the right time, you know?
Yeah, definitely. The group, obviously, the big game tomorrow, Denmark and Belgium in Group B will probably be interesting for Finland and Russia. Finland play Belgium on Tuesday in Denmark, and Russia play Denmark in St. Petersburg. Big interesting games there, but we'll move on to the game in Baku today. Turkey 0, Wales 2, a tremendous Wales performance to give them basically near enough secure them qualification to the last 16. Aaron Ramsey gives Wales the lead, and then a late goal from Connor Roberts gives Wales a 2-0 victory. Shankers, how impressed were you with Wales, and how much credit needs to go to Rob Page for that performance?
A huge credit. I think I seen something online, and it was comparisons with Scotland. I know Bale was like world class, and Scotland's not really got a player like that. But when you see other than Bale and Ramsey, you see the squad, and I'm not saying it's made up. It's no mediocre players or that, but it's no like household names. I mean, they just work as a team. They know their strengths. They probably know their weaknesses and know how to defend. They're strong. They just are real togetherness, and they work as a unit. And that's how I'm not even surprised that they've went and beat Turkey. And I honestly think they could have been more comfortable in the game. I think 2-0 and scoring in the last minute maybe takes away the shine. Aaron Ramsey had 2 golden opportunities in the first half before he scored his goal. And if Turkey go 3 down at half time, I honestly don't think they could have complained one bit. Mm-hmm. And as you said, they've got 1 foot in the last 16. I think even if they go and lose the last game against Italy, I think 4 points gets them through anyway. So fair play to Wales, and you know what they did the last time in the Euros, they got to the semi-final, and see with likes of Gareth Bale and even Ramsey, he was exceptional the day as well, and Dan James to a certain extent, they can go and hurt. They've got the players that can go and hurt teams, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a wee upset in the last 16 if they go through as well. Definitely.
Wales are all but through now. It would take a kind of minor miracle for Wales not to progress. Shankers mentioned Aaron Ramsey there. He also mentioned Gareth Bale. Stevie, apart from his penalty miss, which was near enough cleared the stadium, I think, but how important was Gareth Bale to that performance?
He's massive for Wales. I mean, I think what's interesting, Shankers kind of touched on it there. Out with Bale and Ramsey, it's like the other Wales players, it's as if they know their place. They know that they're there to be solid and keep a good foundation. And if they can get the ball to the dangerous players as quick as they can in good areas, then it'll work out well for them. I know in a lot of other teams, there's maybe 3 or 4 or 5 players like that, and they all want to be the star and this, that, and next. But because they've maybe got 2 or, I mean, I don't suppose Dan James, in terms of abilities, up there yet, but he's ghosting by people in the last 2 games. His pace is unbelievable.
He's a real outball in that for them, isn't he?
He really is. He reminds, obviously, he's powerful, but he's like Traore for Wolves. He gets the ball and just destroys people. If he gets 10 yards of space, you're done for. Kind of reminded me of that run that Mbappe had against, was it Hummels the other night?
Mm-hmm.
He came from
Smoked
15
him.
yards, didn't he? And then took a Ducati past him. But I think Wales, they've got a good, they look like it's like a club feel about them.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of honest boys. And as I say, they know who the stars are, but I think it's important as well that it seems that the guys who are the stars of the team, they're not a million miles above the other guys that are supposedly average against them. Do you know what I mean? They seem to be intertwined with them, and there's a good work ethic in the team as well.
Yeah, I thought Wales were brilliant. I mean, we mentioned there Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale, just a tremendous performance. As you say, that together performance that teams like Wales need to get through to a tournament. They've done it 5 years ago and they've done it here. I think they were absolutely tremendous today. We have been raving about Turkey on this show for a good while now, but it's 2 results, 2 disappointing results. They've got it all to do. Obviously, they play Switzerland next in Baku. Shankers, what do we think of Turkey? Is it unfair, the result? Or
I don't think they have been unfair. It's not as if they've been unlucky. They've had a 1-0 win and it's been a penalty or a last minute goal or whatever. The performances have been really underwhelming, and I'm not saying we bigged them up to go and cause some real damage in this tournament, but I think they have got players that should be going out of that group, to be honest. You'd say Wales have got 1 or 2 world class players, and then Turkey's got a few household names about their squad, and they've got quality as well that I really think they should be going at this group, but it's an uphill battle now, to be honest. If they go and get 3 points against Switzerland, that maybe be the best chance of getting through in a 3rd place finish. But I don't think 3 points is enough. And Switzerland have already got a point on the board, so they'll be on the flip side. They'll be looking to get 3 points, and 4 points might see them through as well. So it's a real uphill battle for Turkey. They could have got off to a rough start, 5 goals conceded, no goals scored. Laughlin's had an absolute nightmare in that previous show.
Stevie, do you see any way back for Turkey after 2 disappointing results in their first 2 games?
Just in the 2 games I've watched, they've been terrible. I've not even seen anything about them that gives me any kind of hope for them. You could say Turkey's been severely undercooked. They've been poor, and they look like, although they've got a good kind of selection of individuals, they don't look in any way, shape, or form a team. They look like a team of individuals, to be fair.
Aye.
They look like they're going out there to better themselves rather than do what's best for the team. The only one that really does a half decent job that I've seen, Soyuncu, and even he's
the defender.
But he's still, you can see him getting really frustrated playing in that team. So you can,
yeah, definitely. I think it's maybe
enough.
Rustu in the nets. Remember him against Moles?
Do you remember he put the war paint under his eyes and over his eyes or something?
Definitely. But Turkey are going to need a miracle to get through here. One team who are through already, and they've secured their place in the last 16 in convincing fashion. Italy 3, Switzerland 0. A double from Manuel Locatelli and Cyril Immobile finished the game off. Stevie, we raved about Italy in this show last week. They're looking dominant. It was a tremendous performance again today, wasn't it?
It was a great performance, and even before a ball's kicked, when you see them singing their national anthem, it gets you up for it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they seem I think because both games have been at home, that's helped them as well. Obviously with the crowd and stuff, but they've been really good so far. And I like the way they're a lot more attacking than previous Italy teams have been in the past. And don't want to say I told you so, but my shout for Locatelli.
Aye. I know.
What a shout that is from me. I can't believe
he's looked an absolute star, isn't he? He's just,
isn't he?
Aye. Obviously you said there about Italy teams attacking. Like, we've all grown up with this stereotype of Italy being defensive. Shankers, this Italy team are outstanding going forward.
They are so, but it's a right good balance. Like, it's almost as if the defensive-minded players are like that. You just can go forward because we trust you that if it breaks down, then they've got a solid defence. I mean, Chiellini and Bonucci, they've been partners for God knows how many years, so they know each other inside and out. Spinazzola on the left side, Scott, he's been mentioned a few times. You know, I'm a big fan of him, but not just defensive minded. Like, for going forward, him and Insigne have got a real good partnership in that left hand side. Jorginho dictates the play, always getting the ball, moving early, doesn't hold on to too long. He gets it and gives it out to the wide men or pops up to the striker. Locatelli, I hadn't really heard much of him before this tournament, so it was funny when the boys have said that name, and I've not really heard of him, and then watched a performance like that tonight, and it was a stick out, to be honest.
You've also got a hig as well with the fact that Verratti's injured.
Yeah,
Verratti
he's almost he's kind of stepped up. It's funny how things like that work. I'm not saying he wouldn't have played, but if Verratti's fit, does Locatelli play, and then he's no fit, so he plays, and then he's a star, and he probably will be at the team now for the rest of the tournament. So it's just funny how they work. But see what I noticed big time with his 2 goals, he starts to play in the mid-left park, and then he finishes it in the box. The second one was outside the box, but for the first goal, he could have easily played that pass and then let the forwards go and deal with it. But he's busted got into the box, good wee run, cut back, finish. You can't ask for much more than that. He doesn't look as if, but he's definitely adding goals to his game from midfield, and Italy is a real threat. And I was saying before we started recording, Gary Neville was saying he's not sure about Italy, and if he needs to wait and see to come up against a test. But that's the same as all the other teams in the competition. You're not going to get really tested till later on the competition when it's all the kind of big guns on together. But if there's 6 goals, 2-3-0 performances, no goal conceded, what more can you say about Italy, to be honest? If they're not a threat with their performances, then I don't want to see them when they are going to be a threat.
Definitely. Is there a wee worry about Chiellini's injury?
Yeah, I think he's a kind of old school kind of warrior. I think if maybe the next game's a blessing because they're already through, so he might miss that. He might get a rest and he's ready for the last 16. But I think if, for instance, they had to go and win that 3rd game, I think Chiellini's one of the players that will be like, "Again, strap me up or whatever. He's the magic sponge. I'm going to play."
Ciro Immobile is another player I want to get Stevie's thoughts on. You raved about him in the show last week as well. I want to go through some of his stats. He scored 117 goals in 171 games for Lazio over the past 4 years. He was top goal scorer in Europe last season with 36 goals in 37 games in Serie A. He's now beginning to do that for his country. He's one of the most underrated strikers in world football, isn't he?
Aye, definitely. With their numbers, anyway. I mean, that seems to be a lot of buying criteria for clubs these days. Is look at statistics, and everybody goes off rather than going to watch people actually playing football. But I'm actually surprised he's not been linked. You've never heard him being linked to any Premier League teams. And I think this competition might be a short window. What age is he? Do you know? Can you remember what age?
30, I think he's just 30, but he's been to Dortmund. He didn't really work out at Borussia Dortmund, so I think is he going to be one of these strikers that maybe just prefers being in Italy and doing the classic? 31, the classic Italian striker who just goes round Italy.
I suppose he's suited to that league, and he feels at home and he feels comfortable. I mean, that's when you play your best football, is when you feel comfortable and you feel relaxed in that, and you'll not feel as much pressure, obviously. But no, he's a real good player. His stats are phenomenal, and that's in a league with Ronaldo in it as well. So he must be right.
Nah, he's a top striker. Switzerland, Shankers, what's your thoughts on them? Is Turkey and Switzerland just basically a game where we think how do we see that?
You watch the chase or something like that. No, Switzerland, I've heard a few of the pundits in the telly and says, and it probably hits the nail on the head. They're steady, they always qualify, but they never ever do much more than that, and it's as if they're just happy to be there. And that's the way they've played the last couple of games, as if, right, their job's done, we're getting here. We're just going to enjoy these 3 games rather than go for it. I think they're another one. They've got a couple of good players with Xhaka and Shaqiri. Other than that, I'm kind of struggling. So
the boy up front, boy Mbola.
Mbola, he's decent, but they have struggled this one. I don't know what it is. Turkey but they have still got a chance of going through in the third place if they go and beat Turkey. That's the thing, and then if they say they go and do that, and if they qualify through the third place, it might give them a wee lift.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the performances they haven't got much to show for, so you can't expect them to go and beat Turkey. I think that one could be a draw written over it. Very poor for Switzerland and Turkey this tournament so far.
That will do our Wednesday action at the Euros. We'll move into the 3 games we've got tomorrow and Thursday. Ukraine kick off against North Macedonia at 2:00. Ukraine did look decent against Holland, but obviously lost the late goal. Macedonia get beat convincingly by Austria. Stevie, how do we see this one going?
Ukraine. It's got to be Ukraine. Aye. They'll see this game as if they win this. Do you know what I mean? Then the last game is going to be. Even if they get if they win this tomorrow and get a point in the last game, I think that'll get them through in the group. So I think they'll go all out to win this game tomorrow. So I'm going for convincing Ukraine, either 2 or 3-0.
Very good. Shankers, what we got for Ukraine and North Macedonia?
I'm bang on with Stevie. I thought they could beat for the Netherlands, but I thought they were good.
Mm-hmm.
You seen a spirit. See 2-0, they could easily have chopped it and went and get beat 3 or 4, but they've kind of fought and it's got back to 2-2, and I'm surprised they ended up getting beaten then, because you get back to 2-2, you worked so hard to get beat, you think you would just fight in and even get bodies behind the ball, because a draw against the Netherlands sets them right up for the rest of the group. They probably fancy themselves to go and beat the other 2 teams, so I think Ukraine will see this one as well. As if they go and get 3 points, and Austria's a very winnable game in the last group game to get them through, and they could end up even with 6 points, but I still fancy them heavily tomorrow. I think all the teams against North Macedonia will fancy themselves, no disrespect to them.
I think Ukraine will win as well. I'm going to go for 2-1. I think North Macedonia actually played some decent stuff against Austria, but I think Austria their quality just got the better of North Macedonia then. I think it'll be the same here tomorrow. I'll go Ukraine 2, North Macedonia 1. 5:00, Denmark versus Belgium. This game obviously takes on new meaning. Shankers, I think we're all wanting Denmark to go out there and perform well and get a result, but they're up against the best team in the world. Is it going to be tough?
They play France.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
Belgium are world number 1.
Their standings don't mean nothing. But you're spot on. I've seen myself at Denmark. We're playing Finland, and I want Finland to do well because I love playing Camara. And then what happens in the game happens, and then you're like, you just want Denmark to go and get something, and as a nation can come together. And I think tomorrow, I think if they got Belgium in the last game, it would have been the best thing for them, because they kind of maybe went out and played Russia and get 3 points possibly, and then get into Belgium with nothing. But they're into tomorrow's game, and it's looking like they need some sort of result, whether it's a point, a 3 points. It seems they need something to get through. And see, to be honest, they could be sitting like this. The tournament's kind of almost irrelevant now. They're just wanting one of their own, healthy and safe and all that. I know a group of boys that say they're playing, a group of boys that are playing fit by a European tournament want to do well, but sometimes there is bigger things than that, and they could have other things in their mind. I just think Belgium are too strong. They didn't play De Bruyne and Hazard the last game, and they still won convincingly. I'd be surprised if we see they two tomorrow as well. I think Belgium's strong enough without them, and possibly keep, if they're carrying a wee niggle, keep them for later on in the competition, because I think Belgium could go deep into the competition, and if no, possibly go and win it.
Stevie, how do you see Denmark and Belgium going?
To be fair, I fancy Belgium to win the game, but it'll be a strange one, obviously, with the circumstances surrounding the game. So, as Shankland said, it just depends what the mindset. Obviously, they're professionals, but there are some things that are bigger than football. So, it depends on the mindset. What it might do is it might galvanise the Danish players, and they might go and try and put a performance and dig in and maybe get a draw out the game. And a draw wouldn't be the worst result for Belgium, considering they're already sitting on 3 points, and then they play Finland in the last game. So, I'll go for a tight Belgium win. I'll go for 2-1 Belgium.
Steve's going for a Belgium win. I'm going to go for a draw. I think Denmark are a really good side. Obviously, they'll be wanting to do well now. It's going to be tough, but I think they could scrape a draw here. I think they could win their third game and go through. I think this Denmark team are really good. We'll move on to.
Sorry to interrupt. See, the thing is though, they have probably took their best player.
That's the thing.
Right out of the equation too. Although the whole thing surrounded around about it, if it was any other players that would have been devastating, but it probably is their best player who on his day can win you a match like that. So it'll really knock the stuffing out of them today. That's how one of the reasons how I think Belgium will win comfortably.
They're good. I've kind of thought that myself. Eriksen's a massive player for Denmark, and he is kind of a talisman. So without him, just how do they set up? Do they change system? It's going to be interesting to see. But obviously, I think we're all rooting for Denmark to get something out of this game. But we'll move on to 8 o'clock. Holland play Austria in the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. They did get the victory in the first game, Stevie, but are we expecting Holland to do the same here?
I think because the game's in Holland, that's obviously going to go in their favour. They weren't convincing in the first game, you know. As good as Ukraine were for coming back, Holland certainly took their eye off the ball when they went 2 up. But I'll go for probably Holland 1-0. Cagey game. I'll go for Holland 1-0.
Shankers, how do we see Holland versus Austria going tomorrow night? 2 teams with a win on the board. Who do we see prevailing here?
I think Netherlands will be too strong for them. Austria's already kind of, I'm not saying done their bit, but they've got 3 points on the board. They're not expected to win this game, so the pressure's off. I'm not saying they'll have all eyes in the last game to try and get something, but this one's probably one of the ones where they can go out with no pressure and no going to enjoy it. But sometimes when you're playing the games and you've not got a lot of pressure on you, sometimes you get the best out of other players when there's no much expected of them. On the flip side, Holland, 3 points probably secures their place in the next round. So they'll be going out playing at home in front of a home crowd. So they'll not get a better chance after. I didn't realise how long ago it was since Holland were at a major tournament. The last time we got to the final. They were at a major tournament, so they'll be looking to prove a wee point and get into the last 16 securely, probably as early as possible.
I think this could be a draw. I think Holland I think they were very good going forward, but I do think they've got that weakness at the back. Obviously, no Van Dijk, and I still don't think De Ligt's fit, who's another massive miss. Austria looked very good against Macedonia. I think this could be an even game. I think we're going to go 1 each here. Stevie, before we go, obviously the big game on Friday, England versus Scotland. What's your predictions?
I predict I'll have about 7 cans of Tennent's, 17 Tunnocks tea cakes, and a couple of tatty scones. Listen, it's going to be difficult. They're going to have 60-70% of the ball, and they're really dangerous, and they've still got players to come into that team that didn't start for them on Sunday there. So it's going to be very, very difficult. I think the best we can hope. Listen, I want to see them win, and I hope for a win, but I think the best we can hope for and being realistic, is a draw, and then go all out against Croatia. But I'd love to see us win. I honestly, I listen to TalkSport every single day, and the pelters we've got for that game against the Czechs is driving me up the walls, making me like put Class FM on. I need to chill out a bit.
Brilliant, but it's going to be obviously tomorrow night we'll have an interesting preview show as well as we'll look ahead to the big game on Friday. That'll do us for this week.
Sorry, Scott. See, can I just ask you something, Steve? See how you're saying about England having so much possession?
Yeah.
Do you think because it's so important when Scotland get a chance that they've got the ball, do you think they need somebody like the likes of Billy Gilmour to keep the ball? Because he'll keep the ball for fun, and it's so important when you've not got the ball. If you've got the ball so little that you need to keep it, because there's nothing worse than when you get if you're playing against a team like the likes of England, and I'm not saying as if I've played against them, but you know what I mean. If they've got the ball a lot, and when you get it, you don't want to give them it straight back, and you're chasing again. You need somebody in there that will keep the ball, and that's his game almost, keeping the ball and getting it and keeping things ticking. And he's so comfy on the ball for a boy. I just think that he's suited almost to a game like this where when you get the ball, you need to keep it, and he's comfortable like that. I think he could in my shout of starting.
If you look at his debut was against Liverpool.
I seen that.
When Liverpool were absolutely flying. He came in and he bossed that midfield in that game, and you would expect Liverpool to dominate the ball in that game as well. But you're right, it's perfect for him. I would bring in Gilmour, and I would bring in Patterson. I would go to I'd probably go start with a 5-4-1, but it's a 3-5-2 attacking, but it's 5-4-1. I'd go with Tierney left centre half, Robertson left wing back, and then I'd have Patterson on the right, and in the middle I would have Gilmour. Do you know what? I would even go Turnbull as well. I would go Gilmour, Turnbull, McGregor, and maybe Simon McTominay and McGinn into it. I'd probably go McTominay over McGinn because I think McTominay's better on the ball than McGinn in terms of keeping the ball.
McTominay could end up playing one of the centre halves. The right centre back. If he plays there, then you're looking at McGinn in the middle, aren't you? I think McGinn needs to play maybe slightly further forward than what he was playing the other day there. He looked burnt out the other day there, but
he looked isolated though because he was
70 minutes. What is that?
He looked a bit isolated though because he was playing so deep.
I don't think he is a kind of deep midfielder. No. I think he's kind of one of the box to box. He likes to get in and about everything, but he looks as if he blew his tank very early on in that game, because that's normally his game, getting in folks' faces for the whole 90 minutes, but 60, 70 minutes, and there was one where he's trying to kind of carry the ball at the park and he just looked dead in his feet, man.
Aye. You're right, but it's important. See when you get that 20%, 30% possession, there's nothing worse than when you're working your nuts off to get the ball. You get it back and somebody gives it away. You I know.
Definitely, but it's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be an interesting game on Friday. We'll be here tomorrow night with a big bumper preview of the game. Stevie, thanks very much for coming on the show as our guest tonight. It's been a pleasure to be on.
No worries. Cheers, Scott.
Brilliant. Shankers.
Cheers, mate.
Shankers, pleasure as always.
Oh, pleasure's mine.
Subscribe to us on YouTube and our social media accounts for more details regarding the Euros. Thanks very much for watching and listening, everyone. We'll see you soon. Cheers.